Throughout the year 2020, the Black Lives Matter movement mobilized millions of people across the country and across the world to peacefully protest the unjustified and racially motivated killing of black men and women by law enforcement in the United States. Tens of thousands of our own citizens here in Orange County, New York, people of all colors and nationalities, took to the streets to make their voices heard. How did our legislators react? The Orange County, New York Legislature is a supermajority of Republicans. It is made up of 15 Republicans, 5 Democrats, and 1 member of the Independence Party. In September of 2020, Orange County Democratic legislators Lori Tautel and Kevin Darien Lujan introduced a resolution for the Orange County Legislature to acknowledge the Black Lives Matter movement, acknowledge the deaths of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor, acknowledge the continuing pervasiveness of systemic racism against people of color in our country and in our county, and pledge to take positive action to combat racist tendencies right here where we live and work. For 3 full months, there was no action taken on the proposal. Finally, in January of 2021, the resolution was placed on the Rules Committee agenda for discussion. Several days before the resolution was to be discussed in committee, the Republican legislators submitted a revised document for consideration. This is the revised document, showing the proposed changes in red. The document had been completely rewritten with no input from the Democrats who originally introduced the resolution. The Republican legislators removed all references to Black Lives Matter. They removed Breonna Taylor's name, and they rewrote nearly the entire text to create a watered-down, weakened statement with no call to action. In a meeting of the legislature on February 4th, 2021, Democratic legislator Kevin Darien Lujan pleaded with the legislative body to put back the reference to the Black Lives Matter movement into the resolution. Here he is.
Prize. So we want to emphasize the fact that this is more than just an organization, that this is a movement. And when we talk about what's going on for this past year, this is what people have been chanting. It's not just about it's not just about racism or discrimination. It's people who are feeling united around this slogan and this symbol. And for us to remove Black Lives Matter as a movement would completely remove anything that this original resolution was about. This resolution, when it was first written, was about the Black Lives Matter movement. And for us to remove the very title, the very soul of this resolution would be one, very, very disrespectful to communities of color who have been calling for racial justice and equity, but also, again, removes the entirety of this resolution.
The Republican Majority Leader then called for a vote to reintroduce a reference to the Black Lives Matter movement into the resolution. Listen to the result.
Roll call, Gene.
Benelli?
No.
Paduk?
Yes.
Amo?
No.
Anagnestakis? Benton?
No.
Cheney?
No.
Fagione?
No.
Hines?
No.
Borsek?
Yes.
Lujan?
Aye.
Menuda?
Nay.
O'Donnell?
No.
Reskevich?
No.
Sassy?
No.
Sierra?
Aye.
Stiganga?
No.
Sutherland?
No.
Tautel?
Aye.
Tui?
No.
Vero?
No.
Brescia?
No.
The 5 Democrats voted yes, put it back in. 14 of the 15 Republicans and the Independence Party leader voted no. The same thing happened when the Democrats pleaded to have Breonna Taylor's name reinstated into the document. The rest of the discussion went along these lines until the end result was the watered-down, meaningless, pandering resolution that makes no mention of Black Lives Matter, no mention of Breonna Taylor, and contains no real call to action. All 15 Republicans and the independent voted in favor of the resolution. All 5 Democrats voted against, and the resolution was adopted 16-5. And that's the end of that. People of Orange County, do you think those Republican legislators went back to their black and brown constituents in each of their districts during this process to get your feedback and hear your views on what this resolution should say and how it should say it? Of course not. The resolution the Republicans created and adopted by first kicking the can for as long as they could and then commandeering the process is a document written by legislators determined to ignore their BIPOC constituents and their Nobel Peace Prize nominated movement for racial equality and justice. Your concerns, your point of view, and your needs have been received and ignored by your Republican representatives. Local politics matter. Black lives matter. Remember these legislators in 2021.